Okay, hi everyone, it's Liam here, the co-founder of Assets for Life, and I've been speaking to a few people over the last couple of days that are in property, and some of those people are trying to focus on too many strategies at the same time, and I see it as a common theme among property investors and developers, because the reality is there's so many wonderful strategies out there where you can be making some serious profit. You know, you've got rent to rent, multi-lets, rent to rent, serviced accommodation. You've got buying properties that you can refurb and flip on or convert them into HMOs and keep them in the portfolio. There's things like deal packaging, lease options, commercial conversions, land development deals, dealing with estate agents, direct to vendor. There's so many different strategies out there that you can focus on. And if I just take you back to 2015, when I made the decision to become a professional property investor, I went through the same process of wanting to do everything at the same time. And for the first couple of months, I found myself just running around in circles like a headless chicken, not really getting anywhere. And what worked for us and what's going to work for you is getting super laser focused on two strategies. So for us, we wanted to focus on a high cash flowing model, because cash flow was really important, and maybe cash flow is really important to you. I wanted to you know, in order for me to cover my living expenses and all of that type of stuff, you know, I needed to be generating £5,000 a month passive income as quickly as possible. And then what we decided to do was focus on making bigger lumps of cash through land development and commercial conversions. Now, you've only got the time that you've got, and that's why it's really important to get super focused on your primary strategy, and depending on your personal situation and what's important to you, and depending on where you live and the amount of time you've got, you know, maybe that primary strategy is going to be a high cash flowing model, such as rent to rent, multi-lets, or rent to rent serviced accommodation. The great things about those strategies is you don't need any money for mortgage deposits. No real credit checks are being done, because a lot of the deals you do are direct to vendor. You don't have to go through the whole buying process of, you know, finding a property, then putting in an offer, and then going through legals and searches, exchange and completion, which can take, you know, quite a few months. You know, you can decide to focus on that strategy, go book a whole bunch of viewings out with your local letting agent, and you could have an offer accepted at the weekend. And because you're only then managing the property, or you've got a corporate let, you know, you could be literally have the keys within a week or two. The downside is that you then don't own the assets. So you're not owning assets, you're more managing assets, or you're renting assets, which you're then converting into multi-lets or serviced accommodation. But, you know, it's a great way to get started, because, you know, from one rent to rent deal, you could be making £500, if not £1,500 net profit per deal. And maybe for some of you, you just need two of those, and that gets you out the day job, or allows you to go part-time and cover your bills, and your mortgage is paid, and you can put food on the table, and, you know, you can pay off some of your bad debt. And when you're in a position to do that gives you your time back. And when you've got your time back, you can then focus on other strategies within property. And your second strategy could be bigger deals like land development, commercial conversions, which are a much longer waiting game. It can take longer to find the deal, and then, you know, the negotiations can take a little bit longer, and then you've got to buy it, and then then you've got to build it out, or you've got to do the conversion, and you might not actually see much profit for a couple of years. So it's really understanding what's important to you, and then making an absolutely key decision that no matter what, that is what you're going to focus on. And whatever strategy you decide to do, yes, you've got to do some research and go and speak to other people doing that strategy, and get to know your local area, and go and meet agents, and get yourself to networking events, and know what's going on, know what the demand is like, and what the room rates are, and what's the selling prices. And of course there's an element of doing the correct research, and then once you've got a couple under your belt, then all of a sudden you're up and running again, which is great. And and then the key thing is not to get distracted with all of the other amazing strategies out there, because the reality is, if you want to, there'll come a time when you can do all of the strategies, but you just can't do them all at once and all at the start. So at Assets for Life, we've now got multiple streams of property income. We charge fees for project management, we work with investors, we've got some serviced accommodation, we've got some multi-lets, we've got land development, commercial conversions. So we've got a mixture of different property deals going on, but the only time we could really do that was once we got our primary strategy up and running. So what I recommend is the following, and this is really going to help you. 80% of your spare time that you can invest into your property business, spend on your primary strategy. So 80%, and 20% of your time spend on your secondary strategy. And that 20% might be, reading books, looking at deals, trying to build some relationships up with agents. And then what you've got to do is you've got to actually commit to a certain amount of time per week that you can apply to your property business. Now that might be 10 hours, it could be 30 hours, but let's just say you've got 10 hours a week that you can block out in your diary, and you block the time out. Maybe that's an hour in the morning, Monday to Friday, and an hour in the evening before you go to bed, Monday to Friday. Well, that's your 10 hours. 8 of those hours you are going to spend on your primary strategy, and only 2 hours on your secondary. Whatever your primary strategy is, viewings, networking, branding, working on social media. Always remember that one of the highest key result areas, probably the highest for all of us property investors, is finding deals. Finding those deals, analysing those deals, putting in the offers. Okay, putting in those offers. So have a think now, are you doing enough viewings? Are you doing enough deal analysis? And maybe you need to allocate more of your 80% into actually finding deals, rather than all of the other low-hanging fruit, low income generating tasks that are keeping you sidetracked. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you all, because I've been speaking to a couple of people the last few days, and they've certainly got sidetracked with all of these other wonderful strategies, and that's easy to do. So don't get sidetracked. Have a think now, what's your primary strategy? What's your secondary strategy? How many hours a week can you honestly commit to? Block them out in your diary and go and make it happen. Just want to acknowledge people saying hi to me. Parmajit's online, hi Parmajit. A few other people. My wonderful partner Holly's tuning in, which is great. So hope you found that useful. If you want more top tips and follow me on YouTube, click on the link below, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's absolutely free of charge. There's just a ton, there's literally hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, talking about different aspects of business, property, strategy, scaling, systemizing, raising joint venture finance, working with investors, how to find deals. There's just so much stuff on there. So click on the link below, get yourself subscribed, absolutely free of charge, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks.